next on our list is tips for clothes. And Taha, I think you mentioned this a little bit, but basically you were saying, don't, when you and I were talking about it, because most of the stuff I wear, I try to wear, 100% cotton stuff, but you actually said, don't wear any cotton.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Do not bring any cotton clothes. It's because it takes long to dry, and usually it's heavy, and it's,
can be uncomfortable.
And could be uncomfortable. You want to have something like a safari, all artificial fabric, like the fishing shirts, the PFG, Columbia type brands, light hiking pants that you can even unzip to become shorts if you want to. You do want closed-toe, nice, comfortable shoes. You don't do a lot of hiking, but something that's closed-toed. And then, also if your underwears, t-shirts and underwear, try to get artificial fabric. And here's why. First, you want to reduce your luggage size. If you do need to do laundry, there is laundry available at all the lodges. But if you want to wash your own clothes, you can literally wash it. And if you have artificial fabric, you hang it. And by the time you wake up, it's ready again.
Yeah, that's nice.
Whereas cotton usually takes extra long to dry. If it gets wet, it's heavy. And do not wear jeans. Unless you have to, do not wear jeans. It's just hot and it's heavy. Try to wear the artificial fabric ones. That's what we recommend.
So for those of us that wear 100% cotton for reasons, we can still wear the 100% polyester, that kind of fabric, but we'll just bring extra Band-Aids to cover the sensitive nipples though, right? That's still okay?
Yes, you can, absolutely. And again, I'm not saying no to cotton. I'm just saying it's a highly recommended you don't.
Gotcha.
Undershirts, if you want to bring a cotton undershirt that's light, that's okay. But like your outerwear, definitely try to reduce the weight by bringing this artificial fabric stuff.
Makes complete sense. And probably cannot stress enough closed-toed shoes. Because we've gone on either local events or trip events where somebody wears, flats or flip-flops, and then they can't figure out why they keep getting rocks on their, on their soles. And then they're just completely, I had a lady one time, and I love her to death. She's an awesome person, but we were out photographing trains as the trains were going by. So we were out, in the trains, it's just nothing but gravel right there next to the trains. She was out there in heels.
Oof.
And I'm like, she was complaining, I'm not having any fun. I'm like, well, I think you wore the wrong shoes. But yeah, it's very good. Okay, so tell us about the immunization and health concerns. And let's break those up. I should have broken this up into two. Really, immunization is a thing, but people really want to know about their COVID exposure options, or the possibility of exposure.
So COVID-19 obviously is a global concern. Tanzania at this point does not have a big COVID explosion there for whatever reasons. Plus, we are going to be probably as socially distanced as anywhere else. You are amongst travelers in your car with the folks that you know of that we will be together with, but it's not like you are in the middle of another unknown crowd, so to speak. The drivers are all tested, and they will be wearing masks during this trip, assuming the vaccination won't be there by that time in February. Tanzania does not require any specific requirements as of right now. I don't know if anybody has been following the news, but there's a Common Pass is a platform that a lot of countries are signing up on. And the Common Pass platform will allow you to have an app that will allow you to say, I took the test. And then when you land, you show the barcode on your app that shows you were tested negative. There's a chance that Tanzania will require that. And if that's the case, then like any other travel that you do today, like even Hawaii or Alaska today, you will simply take the test before you board the aircraft. And then, once you're negative, they upload the results into this app. And then when you land, you just show the results in the app. And it's called
when you say Pass. Before you get on are you talking about we take the test at the airport, or we take it at our local pharmacy beforehand?
You can take it up to 72 hours before your flight. So and there is options at the airport now. So believe it or not, starting this month, United out of IAH is offering tests. You don't have to be flying United, but United offers tests right there with results in 15 minutes. And it's a PCR, molecular, whatever test that they approve on. And what they do is they upload the results right to that app. So it's certified. You don't have to worry about it being, questioning whether this is legit or not. It's all related to the Common Pass app, they call it. And,
Common Pass.
Common Pass is the new platform that's coming out. What they're saying is that if the vaccination comes out, you will have to go to take the vaccination, and then you upload to Common Pass the vaccination as well. So no more carrying that yellow book or anything. It's all electronically going to be managed. So if in February we have a vaccination and you're eligible for it, you can take the vaccination and have it in Common Pass. If you don't have the vaccination, or if the vaccination is not out, then my anticipation is that we will probably have to take the test before getting on board. In the aircraft, all international flights require you to wear a mask, and they give you a shield, so a face shield. And that is required. My wife and I, we're planning to travel to Kenya in late November, and Qatar Airways and Lufthansa are both requiring a mask and a shield while you are traveling. And so
we don't bring that with us. That's something that we get from the airline.
You can bring your own, or you can get it from the airline. The airline will provide it to you if you don't have it. Some people want to bring their own. Some people, don't care, and they just get it from the airline.
Gotcha. So the Common Pass app, is that going to be for all of our immunizations, or just for COVID-19?
So the platform has been signed up for all immunizations, but I don't know if the process has completed for all immunizations. Having said that, if you're traveling from the United States to Tanzania direct via Europe or Middle East, which is all the flights, and you're not onwards traveling to another African country, when you land in Tanzania, there is no immunizations required.
Really? Okay.
That's the key word, is required. There are recommended immunizations that you may want to consult your physician, such as yellow fever or other immunizations that might be recommended for traveling to these countries. The CDC website has a comprehensive article on every country in the world, and you can read up on it. I would just consult with your physician. Malaria is always a concern in Africa. The areas where we go to, there is no major malaria infestation and mosquito infestation. So because remember, you're traveling in the highlands of Tanzania. The plains are 4,000 feet in altitude. And so and the weather is very mild. I mean, you're talking about in the mornings, low 70s, high 60s to maybe low 80s during the day.
So not mosquito weather.
It's not mosquito weather. There's not a huge concern, but you can have. You should consult with your physician, and maybe even take a malaria prophylactic medication that's available. And lots of people who have traveled with us end up doing that. And
so I wonder if it's really still available, though.
It is. Malaria is.
So Debbie,
I mean the medication, because it's also being hoarded by people for inappropriate use by COVID-19. So I'm just
I don't know about that. Yeah.
If you really think you need it, be mindful of it might not be something you can just go into your pharmacy right before you leave and pick up.
Yeah, just get it ahead of time. Yeah, that's a good point.
So Debbie, did you get shots?
Is that available right now? I mean, do you?
Which one?
Because I looked for it. The Common Pass app is it on?
It's being beta tested by United this week, and it'll probably be out by in 2 weeks. Is what they're saying. And the reason I mentioned Common Pass is because by the time February comes around, when this trip will be, I am almost certain Common Pass will be the way to go.
Makes sense. So Debbie.
It's not available right now, Betty.
Yeah.
You won't find it on the App Store.
Yeah. Debbie,
Yes,
did you get any shots?
I did. I
What'd
got
you
a
get?
yellow fever shot because there was a little bit of question a couple of years ago, and you didn't totally have to have it, but if I went to Kenya or accidentally ended up in Kenya, which is just like down the street, then there was a chance that I might need it. So I went ahead and took it. There's a medical, travel medical thing here in Houston where you can get that shot. And the US version of it was totally out because all the Puerto Rican pharmaceutical companies had been blown off the island. And they said, well, this isn't FDA approved. And I'm like, who made it? They go, France. I'm like, give it to me. So Taha got his at the airport in Arusha.
Yeah, I got it in Arusha. Yeah.
Yeah, and the cost differential was tremendous. So
yeah,
you know, depending on what time they open up in Arusha, but you don't need it now. But I did have a yellow fever shot. It's a one-time, good for a lifetime kind of deal. So
How much was it?
And that wasn't bad. And I take the malaria medication a week or so before I go, and then while I'm there, and then finish it up when I get home. They have mosquito nets. You've got screens in the tents. They pretty much come and clear everything out every night while you're at dinner, so you don't really see. We really haven't seen mosquitoes on these trips.
Good.
It's been that good.
How much was the inoculation?
In Houston, $250. In Arusha, $25.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Heads up.
Wow.
Get an Arusha for $25.
Okay.
And again, if you're planning to only travel to Tanzania, you actually don't need it.
Yeah.
Yellow fever, honestly, and again, not a medical opinion, but everybody tells me it's kind of an outdated for that region now. The only time they do require it is, like, for example, if you're taking an excursion to Zimbabwe afterwards, and you're traveling from Tanzania to Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwean government will require it because you're doing inter-African travel.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sense.
Well, and if you're planning on traveling to a lot of places in Asia, there's at some point you're going to need it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Might as well just get it.
Especially if it's a one-time, the one-time
right.
ones.
Yeah. I mean, anybody who's planning on doing a lot of international travel, it's a reasonable immunization to have gotten.
Right. That makes sense. Makes sense. All right. So moving on to our next question, we have currency. So let's say now Joe has gotten there, I've landed, and now I need to go buy my toothpaste and my toothbrush and my hairbrush and my aftershave. So am I okay bringing my silverbacks, not the right word, my
greenbacks.
Thank you.
Silverbacks
are
gorillas on the brain.
So currency, the Tanzanian shilling is the dominant currency, obviously local currency. US dollar is widely accepted and exchanged. Credit cards are widely accepted in these countries now. It's probably a good idea to convert between $100 to $200 worth to local currency. So you have local currency for local tipping and all that, although they will gladly accept US dollars for tips as well. So, and then like for miscellaneous purchases that you may want to do from a local hawker vendor cash, you can spend that. But quite frankly, I would not bring anything more than a couple of $100 for the 9 days of travel with us in cash. You don't need more than that.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Couple of $100.
That's it. Because remember, all food and all hotels accept credit cards. So where if you were to buy alcoholic drinks, they'll gladly accept a credit card. If you were to buy something major, they'll gladly accept credit cards. If you want to bring some extra cash just for safety purposes, you can do so. But in reality, you really don't need more than a couple $100.
Okay, that's surprising.
Do you need the chip and pin for the credit cards?
What?
You do not. That's a good question. Chip and PIN is not required. They do prefer it, but if you've got a U.S. credit card, you're probably not going to have it. So you're good.
Let your bank know that you're going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely the case, because the moment you need to get to your money with your credit card is going to be in the middle of the day, wherever you are. And it's going to be 2:00 in the morning and your bank is not going to answer that phone.
Right.
So,
By the way, guys, we have access. If there is an emergency and you need a lot of cash, we do have the ability to get you the cash in there. And we've done it multiple times where we carry cash on ourselves to help you out so that you're not having to carry a lot of cash with you. And
so if I don't want to carry cash with me, I could just hand you my cash and you'll hold it for me. And
Go to the bank.
No. We just
Bank of Taha.
We just give it to you, and then you give it back to us when through Zelle or whatever payment method. We can do that. So we have ability to access cash if you need cash for some reason. We have the ability to get it.
Right. So if I want to buy some dope, or if I find
there you go.
a girl that I want to bring with me,
That's right.
it's all right there, and you can help me with the cash, right?
We can help you with that. No problems whatsoever.
You're the man, Taha. Thank you, sir. No, chances are what's going to happen is I'm going to find a camera store and I'm going to buy the place out. That's
Chances are you're
Well,
not.
the camera store is going to take your credit card.
That's right. Yeah, camera store is going to take your credit card. So
yeah, that's true. Very true.
What about tipping? Do you tip at the end?
Yes.
In cash?
Well, at each facility.
Yeah, at each facility, they have a common tip box, and we have some suggested tip amounts for the staff, the restaurant staff, and the room service and bellman. That's common tipping, so you're not having to constantly give out tips, right?
It's only like $1.50.
Yeah.
A day.
Per day. It's a very small amount.
Yeah, it's really small.
Yeah, the biggest
kind of like how we do it when we're
drivers.
Yeah, so it's kind of like how we're doing it when we go on cruises. It's all handled at the end, all at one time, so that you're not having to hand out dollar bills the whole week.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
What about the drivers?
Yeah, so drivers are the largest tip you give probably at the end of the trip. We usually recommend approximately $10 per day per person.
And a lot of people don't realize this. And I'm glad that you brought this up, Angel, because when we go on trips before and I say, hey guys, don't forget to tip the driver, don't forget to, they're like, what are you talking about? We've already paid for the trip. Yeah. We rented the bus. Why do we have to pay the driver too? And it's like, no, you don't get it. This is part of the experience, pass a few bucks to the driver.
And these drivers are really the guides. They are phenomenal naturalists.
Yeah, you're gonna feel like a cheapskate at $10 a day. You're definitely gonna overtip them.
Yeah,
they earn every minute of it. I mean, they're so good.
And
we pay that at the end, not $10 a day.
Yes,
right.
That's how we amount it. But yes, you pay them literally with the day you fly back from the Serengeti back to Arusha. We have a small airplane that takes us back. And the drivers then drive themselves. We don't return in cars. We return in an airplane.
Gotcha. All right. So our next one is electricity, power chargers, restrictions on batteries and devices. Now the restrictions, I put that in there mostly for the airline because I've been, I don't want to say harassed, but I have been questioned about some of my battery chargers because those black boxes, they look like a black box, kind of like a hard drive, and they're a really big battery pack. But when you X-ray them, they look like a bunch of bullets. And I've been pulled over to the side and asked, okay, what is this? Explain this to me. And then I have to push a button, plug in a USB cord, plug it into my phone, and then show them, okay, these are batteries inside this, not bullets. So are there any type of electricity, power chargers, restrictions, or any other things that we need to worry about?
No. So electricity is 240, 220, 60 hertz current, but most chargers today are able to handle both, as you know, they're universal. I would bring a universal adapter, to help you out, although many of the plugs in all the lodges are universal as well. So they'll accept the US plug and the European one, and all. They have the universal plugs there. but just have one just in case, if you are in an area. All lodges that we go to now are 24/7 powered by solar and alternative energy. So they are, you won't be without power. You will have plugs in your room and strips to plug in your stuff. And it's all been upgraded on that side. Regarding restrictions, Tanzania as a country does not have any restrictions on what you bring in as far as batteries or devices. You may get questioned, like Joe mentioned, for security purposes, but that's an easy resolution. You show them what it is and you plug it in, and then there you're good. Right. I personally not had that issue in Tanzania, but your mileage may depend on whoever's watching the monitor that day, and
that's your attitude when you're questioned.
That's right. That's
a lot
right.
to do with
so, but for electricity, bring lots of batteries. And by the way, our vehicles have plugs as well, 220 plugs, chargers in it. So if you need to plug your battery while you're driving around, your spare battery, you can do that, or your phone.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And you can get cell signal on the Serengeti.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good question. So let's get back to that, Debbie, but let me ask you this, Taha. So the universal plugs that you can buy now, you can get them on Amazon. Before, they were really expensive. There'd be like $200 to get a universal adapter.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, they're really cheap.
They're like $19 or
they're almost
like
throwaway priced. To be honest.
And you don't need to get very sophisticated with this stuff, guys. I would just say, bring that one adapter, and your regular power chargers will work. You don't have to worry about getting any kind of other kind of chargers.
Yeah.
And it works fine.
I have it's called the donut power strip. So it's round. So all the plugs are on the outside of it, and the wire wraps into the donut itself.
Nice.
So rather than having, a 5 power strip that's this long, takes up a bunch of space, it's only about this big, and they're really cheap. You can buy those on Amazon too, and now there's several companies that do knockoffs, so there's a lot of options. It's this by no means has to be something really expensive. But Debbie, you were mentioning the as far as cell phones and whether or not people would be able to use your cell phones. If somebody really needed to keep in contact with friends, family, and business, tell us about your experience with the cell phones.
Well, you download the WhatsApp app.
Okay.
And that works brilliantly. I don't know why or how, but we load it and we can communicate with each other from car to car. And whether or not we've got a decent cell signal, somehow the WhatsApp works.
Yeah.
And so we can do it that way.
You'll get Wi-Fi at all the major hotels. If you have an international plan on any of the major carriers like T-Mobile, Verizon, or AT&T, you will get connectivity. I would say about 80 to 85% of the time while you're in the national parks. And of course, through Wi-Fi, you'll be able to connect to anywhere every time you're at the hotel and lodges. They all have Wi-Fi. It's not super fast because remember, you are going through a satellite connection.
Right.
But it is good enough to do browsing. It's good enough to do certain Zoom calls. Even I've done Zoom calls, and it's good enough to get work done.
Sounds good. So for the uninitiated, if I'm traveling out of the country, if I'm going with you guys, let's say I'm on Verizon or I'm on AT&T, how much am I looking to pay to get that international call?
That's a great question. So T-Mobile, it's part of your Magenta or Simple One plan. You don't pay any extra. It's included.
Okay.
If you're with AT&T, I think it's like $5 a day or something like that to get the high-speed version.
$10 a day.
$10 a day. Yeah.
It's $10 a day if you do am I going to use it? Or if you're going to use it and you can buy it by the gig, or AT&T's got a lot of different ways that it can be done.
Right. And Verizon has a very similar type option to it, as I understand it.
So probably the simplest for somebody who doesn't want to spend a lot of time researching, probably the simplest way is just to get the per day cost. Do you have to buy that for the whole month, or is it just per day? You just say, hey, I'm going to be there for this 9 days.
It's per day for the days you use it. But remember that if you do it that way, that means that if you have one day where the only time you used it was to send one text message, you're paying $10 for that day.
Oh, so that's a $10 text message.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so if you know that there are going to be certain days you're going to use it a lot and other days you don't need it at all, then the $10 a day might be good for you because they only charge you on the days you use it.
See, this is so different.
However, if you want to have, if you know that your usage is going to be, it could even turn out to be less expensive for you to buy a package plan than it depends on your usage.
Right.
So there's no pat answer. You really do have to do your research and figure out what's best for you.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. And I find this so interesting because, I mean, we're going to be out in the middle of Serengeti and have all of this access that's only going to cost us $10 a day. But if I'm on a cruise ship that's 15 miles out of Houston or out of Galveston, I should say, and I turn my cell phone on, it's like, boom, $45,
Wow.
just instantly for it's interesting. Okay.